Hello, dear visitors of our website. Today we will discuss the topic economic cooperation between Uzbekistan and the European Union, prospects and opportunities. In this regard, we have invited the European Union Ambassador to Uzbekistan, Mr. Toivo Klaar, to our studio. Assalamu alaikum. Mr. Toivo Klaar, thank you for agreeing to this interview and taking time to join us. How is trade and economic cooperation between Uzbekistan and the European developing today? How has bilateral trade turnover changed in recent years, and in which sectors has cooperation intensified?
Well, assalamu alaikum, and thank you for inviting me, and thank you for this interview. The European Union's and Uzbekistan's trade relations have intensified over the past years, in the context also of the opening up of Uzbekistan's economy, of the rapid growth that we have seen. So we have more exports from the EU to Uzbekistan, and we have more imports from Uzbekistan to the European Union as well. And particularly in the context of the EU providing also GSP Plus to Uzbekistan, this has helped Uzbek exports. We have seen a significant rise. So in 2023, we already saw about 1 billion of Uzbek exports to the EU, and we have seen about 4.5 billion euro worth of imports from the European Union to Uzbekistan. The range of products that are being exported from the EU to Uzbekistan is quite wide. But I would emphasize particularly machinery and high-tech products. From Uzbekistan, we also see a expansion of the diapason of the products that are being exported to the EU, meaning that it used to be more textiles. And now we see also, for example, pharmaceutical products being exported to the EU. And again, that is a consequence of GSP Plus, which has allowed for Uzbek exporters to export their goods duty-free to the European Union, and that has, of course, promoted their activity.
How is the European Union supporting economic reforms in Uzbekistan? What are the priority areas in this regard?
Well, I would emphasize three priority areas. First is good governance, secondly, green economic transition, and third, the agri-food sector. And good governance comes first, of course, because good governance is the basis for everything. Good governance means that there is rule of law, that there are transparent procedures, that it is an investment environment that will promote the new inflow of investments and will give confidence to investors that their investments are protected. So this is the first and key element. And of course also combating corruption is also an essential part of that. The president just recently emphasized the importance of that, and we fully support Uzbekistan in fighting corruption and generally in improving good governance in order to bring in more investments into the country. As far as economic transition or green economic transition is concerned, of course, we all know here the importance of water and of energy, how Uzbekistan on the one hand has to transition to other ways of generating energy, and this is a key priority for the president as well, as we often hear. And water being a scarce resource, and this has to be protected and used more efficiently, and that is something which the EU is working on together with Uzbek authorities. And finally, of course, agri-food sector, that ties into both of these areas, but above all, it's about producing good quality food, which is then good for exports, but also above all for the local consumers. They need to know what they are eating and that the quality is good. So these are some of the three three key elements or three key areas that I would like to emphasize in this regard.
On March 27, the EU Central Asia 20th Ministerial Meeting was held in Ashgabat. On April 4th, the first EU Central Asia Summit will take place in Samarkand. What impact are these international events expected to have on regional cooperation in Central Asia?
Well, it shows the intensity of our relations. The fact that we had the foreign ministers meeting just now. We also had the High Representative Kaja Kallas visiting Uzbekistan, and for a very long and important meeting with President Mirziyoyev. And then we have the summit. This shows that our relationship is really expanding and deepening. And we have two regions between the European Union and Central Asia that have shared interest in stability, in the importance of international law, in respect for international law and United Nations obligations, and in expanding the relationship between these two regions, both as far as trade is concerned, as far as human contacts are concerned. So I see this development as being really significant. We hear from Central Asian leaders, and we hear from President Mirziyoyev the emphasis that he is putting on cooperation between the 5 Central Asian countries. And we as European Union, we really want to support that and emphasize the importance of this kind of regional cooperation. We have experience over decades of building regional cooperation between countries in Europe. And now we see that in Central Asia, there is an interest in maybe not building something exactly the same, but moving also in the direction of stronger cooperation between the 5 countries. And we want to support this because we believe that this makes each and every one of the countries of Central Asia stronger. It creates more investment opportunities for every Central Asian country, and it makes also sure that these scarce resources that I talked about, water and energy, that these can be used better. So the more we from the EU can advise about our experience, how we can build on the cooperation that we have already had over many years between the European Union and Central Asia, the better our relationship will be and the stronger Central Asia will be. And that is what I see as being behind the strengthening and intensification of the relationship that we're seeing.
Within the framework of the EU-Uzbekistan strategic partnership, in which areas are political and economic cooperation progressing? Could you provide information about new initiatives and projects?
Well, the most important that I want to emphasize is the Enhanced Partnership and Cooperation Agreement that we expect to sign this year between the European Union and Uzbekistan. This will open up new avenues of cooperation, and we hope that this will take place during a visit of President Mirziyoyev to Brussels. So this will be really a landmark occasion in our relations, and as I say, it will be the springboard to a new and expanded partnership. So this is one aspect that I want to emphasize. The other one is WTO accession, which is an important objective for Uzbekistan, and which we as European Union fully support, where we have had intense discussions only recently in Brussels about this, and we expect to continue these discussions with a view to having Uzbekistan join the WTO at the soonest possible opportunity. And of course, I already mentioned GSP Plus and the benefits this has brought to Uzbekistan. And so these are maybe some of the areas where I see that we have agreements that open up new avenues, and this is what we have to build on.
What results has Uzbekistan's participation in GSP Plus system yielded in practice? What measures does the European Union propose to further support this process effectively?
Well, GSP Plus, first of all, it has opened the possibility for more than 6,000 types of products to be exported tax-free to the European market for Uzbek producers. And this is a huge opportunity. It's not being used to the full extent yet, and here we want to work together with Uzbekistan, with the Uzbek authorities to make sure that that Uzbek entrepreneurs are really able to reap the most benefit possible from this scheme. Of course, this scheme, GSP Plus, is not only about opening up trade, but it is also about 27 UN conventions that underpin a strong society, and where Uzbekistan, in joining up to GSP Plus, has committed itself to working together with the European Union on the implementation of these 27 conventions, which refer to labor rights, which refer to human rights, which refer to good governance, and also environmental protection. And we just had a mission in Uzbekistan to assess how progress is going. And we had very good discussions with the Uzbek authorities, but also representatives of civil society about the prospect there. So GSP Plus is about working together for a stronger Uzbekistan, for a stronger private sector in Uzbekistan, and more opportunities for Uzbek entrepreneurs to export to the European Union, and about cementing the changes that have taken place in Uzbekistan through the implementation of these UN conventions.
In your opinion, in which areas would the development of cooperation between Uzbekistan and the European Union be most beneficial for both sides in the future? Which sectors would you prioritize as key areas for collaboration?
Well, we have cooperation in several areas. I mean, across the board between the EU and Uzbekistan. I was just this morning in the statistical agency. We were talking about how the EU can support the statistical agency in its work, but and that ties into a broader support for policy reforms and effective policy making. But then we also have cooperation on hazardous pesticides. We focus on energy and water and their efficient use, on hydropower, and more generally also on the planning, efficient planning, urban planning, and spatial planning in order to make Uzbekistan's governance more effective. So this is going to be an important area of cooperation between the European Union and Uzbekistan in the coming years, about ensuring that the needs of the population and the facilities that are being provided, meaning in terms of water, transportation, roads, etc., all of this is in harmony with each other, and we want to work with the Uzbek authorities on what I find is a very important area for the country's further development.
Within the EU-Uzbekistan partnership, what specific projects are being implemented in the fields of education, science and innovation? How are the results being evaluated?
The European Union is actually supporting quite a few educational institutions directly here in Uzbekistan. So we are working with 3 agricultural colleges, we are working with 1 irrigation college, and we're working with 4 teacher training colleges. And that is on the basis of training the trainers. So we are helping to train teachers in order that they can train new generations of students. And that is an extremely important area, I believe, for Uzbekistan, also for us. We see this as a incredibly future-oriented area of our broader cooperation. And then in terms of student exchanges, instead of cooperation between universities, we have Erasmus+. And that is a very popular program that I have seen here now across Uzbekistan. I have gone to various colleges and universities, and I've had interactions here in Tashkent with representatives of higher education institutions and of the ministries. This is a very appreciated program that the EU is offering, Erasmus+, and where we hope that we can have even more cooperation in the future. And finally, of course, on research, we have our Horizon program, which brings together researchers and scientists. And this is also again, a stepping stone to the future. Scientists working together, researchers working together for a better world for the future, addressing the problems of today. And so I see that education and cooperation in education is a key area between the European Union and Uzbekistan. And I'm very happy that we're doing so much to support the education sector in Uzbekistan.
Thank you for our interview.
Thank you.